is going on at Liverpool? After winning the league for the first time in 30 years, a lot of people thought they'd retain their title, including me, but they've been absolutely dreadful this season. After being, 3-4 years up at the top of European and English football, they fell drastically this season, and they're even struggling to score goals. Jurgen Klopp looks devoid of ideas on the touchline, and he just doesn't have a plan B. While in the last few years, Liverpool would keep on attacking, and eventually they'd get 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals against their opponents. This season, they've just looked poor in the attack. And after losing 1-0 to Burnley at Anfield, that ended a 64-game unbeaten streak at home. And out of all teams to lose it to, you didn't expect it to be Burnley. Sean Dyche went there, he sat back, and he got a late penalty, and Ashley Barnes converted it. Klopp said earlier in the season when Jose Mourinho came to Anfield that you cannot sit back and win at Anfield. Well, he was proven wrong by Sean Dyche there. Klopp has looked really irritated on the touchline this season, having arguments with Des Kelly in a post-match interview about fixture congestion, and even running after Sean Dyche the other day down the tunnel, shouting at him. Klopp looks very stressed, which is unusual because it's the first time in his Liverpool career that we've seen this. A lot of people are drawing comparisons to his last season in Borussia Dortmund, and you can see why. The body language of the players is almost identical. And after 3-4 years of playing Klopp's high-pressing style of football, it can be tiring for the players, and it looks like it's finally taken a toll on them. Whilst before Mane and Firmino were crucial in the front three, they've been lacklustre this season. Firmino never was a great goal scorer, but at least he got assists, he linked up the play. But this season he's been sloppy with his passing, and he just hasn't been there in the middle for Liverpool. Whilst Mane was to be the player getting the goals along with Salah, he's only got 6 this season in the Premier League, which is really poor by his standards. And halfway through the season, they sit 6 points behind United in the title race, and a crucial match is coming up this Thursday against Spurs. It's a must win. If they don't beat Tottenham on Thursday, that's their title hopes gone for this season. And never mind about title hopes. If they keep going at this rate, they'll struggle even to get Champions League football. They've got teams like Tottenham, Everton, West Ham and Aston Villa, surprisingly, breathing down their necks for that 4th spot. And what's even more worrying for Liverpool is the teams that they are losing points to. Draws against the likes of West Brom, Newcastle and Fulham is really poor. These 3 clubs are fighting to survive relegation, and these are the type of teams that Liverpool would have dispatched of in the last few years. And when you look at who they've lost to as well, Southampton, Burnley, Aston Villa, they are big teams. Liverpool still haven't lost to one of the big 6. That's where Liverpool are losing their points, against these small teams. A few years ago, they would have beaten them by 5-6-0. So why can't Klopp's men get going this season? It is partly down to injuries. When you lose a figure like Virgil van Dijk at the back, you lose a leader in the team. This season in defence, Klopp has had to play Fabinho and Henderson as his 2 centre-backs. And by moving Henderson and Fabinho back into centre-back, he's losing 2 crucial midfielders in that Liverpool midfield. By moving Henderson back into centre-back, Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't have the same amount of cover on the right, which means that he can't get forward as much, and we've seen that this season by his performances. A lot of people have criticised Trent for his performances this season, and rightly so. He hasn't been up to the high standard that he set over the last 3 seasons. The assists have dried up for Trent, and his crossing isn't as pinpoint as it used to be. People have always said that Trent wasn't the greatest defender, and he's been exposed for that this season. A huge part of Trent's form dipping is because Henderson isn't there to give him the cover. Another problem Klopp has with dropping Henderson and Fabinho further back is that he loses an essential cog in the Liverpool midfield. Thiago was brought in the summer but has been injured for most of the season. The 2 midfielders Klopp has used the most have been Gini Wijnaldum and Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones is having a very good season and he's got a lot of praise from the press and the fans. On the other hand, Wijnaldum, he looks like he's running down his contract and is going to Barcelona. He's looked very unmotivated out in the pitch, and he's down tools at times. With his head already out in Barcelona, Klopp desperately needs to find another replacement for him in the midfield. Another interesting player Liverpool have got in their hands is Diogo Jota. They bought him from Wolves for 45 million in the summer, and he came in and he made an instant impact. He scored game-winning goals against West Ham and Sheffield United, and even picked up a hat-trick in Bergamo against Atalanta in the Champions League. He has been out injured for this month, but he will shortly return, and he could be a big boost to Liverpool's front 3 and solve their goal-scoring problem at the moment. Another player who's come under a lot of criticism this season is Mo Salah. A lot of people have been saying he hasn't been scoring the goals, but I disagree with them. He's top goal scorer in the Premier League after all, with 13 goals, and we saw the other day in the FA Cup that he scored 2 against United. But there has been talks that Mo Salah might also leave the club this summer. He has said in the past that his dream clubs would be Barcelona or Real Madrid, and there's been a lot of rumours of him going to them this summer. Liverpool are trying to negotiate a new contract with him, and I think it's crucial that they get him to stay for another 3 or 4 years. If Liverpool are going to get rid of any of the front three, I think at this point it has to be Bobby Firmino. He's just not scoring the goals that Liverpool need, and they could get a decent sum of money for him. And they've got the perfect replacement already in the squad with Diogo Jota. Another thing I don't understand with this Liverpool team is why they haven't gone out in the January transfer market and got a centre-back. FSG haven't given the money to Klopp that he clearly wants for a centre-back. And really, they need if they want to be challenging for the league or Champions League this season. And it's not like there's not centre-backs out there. You look at AC Milan, who got Tomori on a 6-month loan deal. There's Sven Botman from Lille, who's available, who's a great prospect for the future as well, and would fit into Liverpool's transfer policy perfectly. FSG have come out and said that during coronavirus they don't have the money to be putting into transfers, but I think that's crap. This is a club who've won the Premier League and Champions League in the last 2 years. Surely they have some money to be put into a transfer that they really need at this time. Liverpool are still of course in the Champions League, and they've been drawn against RB Leipzig in the round of 16. It's definitely not an easy tie, but definitely one Liverpool will be going in favourites. I wouldn't put it beyond Jurgen Klopp and his team to go on a cup run in the Champions League and maybe even win it. Liverpool has always had a very special relationship with the Champions League, and they can produce magical nights in the European Cup, as we've seen against Barcelona. It seems as though Klopp needs to rebuild this Liverpool team. A lot of them are looking tired out there. They're not pressing from the front as much as he would want them to. When he came to Liverpool in 2015, he had a huge job in his hand. They weren't a great club at all. They had been out of the Champions League for a couple of years, and he built them up from nothing. Remember, they had Lallana and Milner in midfield. They had Alberto Moreno at the back, Dejan Lovren. It really wasn't a great team, and he built them up by making shrewd signings like Salah, Mane, Firmino. They weren't big names when they came to Liverpool. He bought them for decent prices, and he made them into great players. This is where Klopp needs to show he's one of the greatest managers of all time. Rebuilding a team is much harder than it seems. This is what made Sir Alex Ferguson such a great manager. He rebuilt that Man United team about 4 or 5 times, and every single time it was a successful team. If Klopp managed to do this, it would be incredible to see. His contract at Liverpool does run on till the summer of 2024, so he definitely has time to rebuild this team, and I hope the club will give him that time. It was always going to be hard for Liverpool to keep up to their unrealistic standards set by them at Man City the last few years, but to drop this low was unexpected. But if they do beat Tottenham on Thursday, they are still in the title race, and if they can hang on and wait till Van Dijk, Gomez, Jota and Thiago are back to full fitness, they are definitely still in a chance of fighting for this title. So what do you think? Is this a minor blip in form, or is this the end of Klopp at Liverpool? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.